Hey guys, let's talk about a foundational upper body strengthening movement, the push-up, okay? Learning to do the push-up properly is foundational to all other upper body movements like dips, handstand push-ups, and all barbell pressing. All right, so we're gonna go through just a basic warm-up and some strengthening drills to get better at the push-up. So before we get into our strengthening exercises, it's always good to mobilize the body. General mobility of the shoulders, and it is a full body movement. So we always recommend some shoulder shrugs, arm swings. If you think about the bottom of the push-up here, right, it's good to mobilize the arms in this position, try to open up the shoulder blades, okay? After you do a general mobility of the body, we want you to do a specific movement called a scapula push-up, okay? So scapula push-up looks like this. You get in that nice plank position, body is rigid, arms are straight. You're gonna try to push up through the scapulas as far as you can, and then sink down without letting the arms bend or the body sag. So up, down through the scapulas only. You want to avoid the body sagging or the arms bending when you do this movement, okay? So this is a good warm-up and body awareness drill. I want you to work up 2 to 3 sets of 10 to 15 repetitions before we do our strengthening drills. So let's take a look at a good push-up and some of the common faults that we see when people are struggling with the push-up. So a good push-up, hands are just outside shoulder width. We set up in a nice tight plank position, so there's a straight line from the shoulder through the ankle, and the shoulder should be slightly in front of or right over the wrist. As we perform the movement, at the bottom, the elbows are tucked in, the chest touches the ground right between the hands, shoulder and hip move together in every rep, okay? What we see commonly are a couple things. When people set up, one common fault is they'll leave the butt in the air and reach with the head. If you notice, my elbows flare out when I do this, okay? Or another common problem is that people lose the tight plank position where the body kind of snakes up and down, or maybe something like this, where their body's never in a good plank position, okay? So we want to get strong in a couple of positions here, that elbow in versus elbow out position. We want to learn to get nice and strong in that plank position as well. So our first exercise is something called an incline push-up. And this is about reinforcing good position and getting some volume of reps. You can see I have a squat rack here with a barbell. You can also use, if you're at home, a bench or your countertop. The idea is that we're going to start in an incline plank position. So you can see, same position as a plank. My shoulder to hip to ankle is a nice straight line. And I'm going to try to do 15 push-ups in this position. Elbows stay in, I touch my chest, back to lockout. The important thing here is to make sure that your shoulder and hip move at the same time. We want to avoid leaving the butt behind. So I recommend if you don't have someone watching you, maybe film yourself to make sure that movement is happening properly. The goal here is to perform 5 sets of 15 repetitions, resting about 60 seconds in between. As you get stronger, you can make the incline more challenging, getting your hands closer to the floor. So our second strengthening drill is going to be a plank on our hands. This seems like one of those simple drills that a lot of people don't focus on enough, but the idea of the push-up is we want to learn and strengthen that nice tight body position. So we're going to work up to 5 sets of 60 seconds with 60 seconds rest in between. When you're performing the plank, there's a kind of a checklist you want to go through when you're set up. Okay, so let's talk about it. Same exact position as our push-up. Hands just outside shoulder width, right? We're going to have a shoulder right over the wrist or slightly in front of the wrist, feet together. Now here's what I want you to think about. Think about your elbows staying locked out, so you're kind of pushing up through the ground. Like that scapula push-up, we're at the top of the scapula push-up, so you don't want to allow your shoulders to sink, okay? So the whole time you're pushing up, okay? In your back, you're not arched, but you're squeezing your butt, locking your quads, feet together, and holding this position. At no point do you want any of those things to move or sag. And it gets challenging, all right? So just kind of as you're holding for 60 seconds, focus on that checklist. All right, guys, so that's it. We have our 2 movements. We have our plank position, where we're going to get nice and strong, good body awareness in that rigid position, and then our elbow in pressing position. As we get stronger here and you get better at the push-up, this will translate to other movements such as dips or handstand push-ups, where we need that same type of pressing power, okay? So be sure to leave comments below. We'll see you guys next week.